Morning. The sun shines brightly, but the shadows are long. Peppa goes to school. Her backpack seems heavy. Children on the playground are playing, but Peppa stands alone. Her gaze is empty. Susie Sheep laughs with others, pointing at Peppa. The laughter sounds eerie. George tries to approach Peppa, but he is pushed away. He falls. Mummy Pig waves, but Peppa doesn't see. Her eyes are clouded. Daddy Pig reads the newspaper, not noticing the anxiety. The pages rustle ominously. Granny Pig knits. The thread breaks. A premonition of trouble. Grandpa Pig sleeps. His snore sounds like a moan. The world around Peppa is changing. Peppa enters the classroom. The blackboard is covered with offensive words. The chalk squeaks. The teacher looks through Peppa. Her smile is frozen. Other children whisper, their voices merging into a hum. Peppa shrinks. Peppa tries to read a book. The letters blur. Fear grows. During recess, Peppa hides in a corner. The walls are pressing in. Footsteps are heard approaching. Peppa's heart beats fast. Shadows lengthen, distorting figures. The world becomes alien. Peppa runs down the corridor, doors close. There's no way out. She sees her reflection. It's distorted. Her eyes are full of tears. Peppa falls to the floor, surrounded by shadows. Cold pierces through her. Voices whisper her name. Laughter intensifies. Peppa disappears. An empty school, only the echo of laughter. Silence is the most frightening thing. The lost Peppa Pig episode that never aired. Peppa Pig's house was enveloped in an unusual silence. Gloomy shadows danced on the walls, creating ominous patterns. Peppa and George played in their room, where a bunk bed stood against the wall, George on the bottom, Peppa on top. Suddenly, a strange, distorted sound emanated from the old speakers. Mummy Pig and Daddy Pig froze, listening to the growing noise. The sound grew louder, penetrating every room of the house. The speakers began to glow with an eerie red light. Peppa and George felt an inexplicable fear. The speakers pulsed, emitting a piercing wail. The pig family watched the speakers in horror. Suddenly, the speakers exploded, leaving only silence. The pig family remained in shock, realizing what had happened. The silence was deafening, but now it seemed even more ominous. Lost episode of Peppa Pig that never aired. The Peppa Pig house was enveloped in an unusual silence. Only a light breeze whispered outside the window. Peppa and George played in their room, where a bunk bed stood against the wall, George below, Peppa above. Their usual games seemed strangely muted. Mummy Pig cooked in the kitchen, and Daddy Pig read the newspaper in the living room, but their movements were slow and uncertain. Suddenly, a strange, sticky sound was heard. A figure stood at the doorstep, vaguely resembling Susie Sheep, but her eyes were empty and her body was covered in a black, pulsating mass. She didn't smile as usual and didn't jump for joy, only emitted a low growl. The figure slowly moved towards Daddy Pig, his newspaper falling to the floor. He tried to retreat, but his feet seemed rooted to the spot. The black mass began to envelop him, consuming his form. Mummy Pig froze, her gaze filled with horror. Peppa and George, hearing the noise, peeked out of their room. They saw Daddy Pig disappear under this living shadow. Mummy Pig let out a quiet, broken gasp. The creature, now even larger, turned towards her. She tried to run, but it was too late. The black substance caught up with her, and she too disappeared. Peppa and George hid under the bed, their little hearts pounding. They heard the creature slowly approaching their room. The door quietly creaked open. A huge black figure with eerie white eyes appeared in the doorway. Peppa and George huddled together, their eyes wide with fear. The creature slowly extended its sticky limb towards them. George, trembling, closed his eyes. Peppa, gathering all her courage, tried to push it away. But it was too late. The black mass covered them both, engulfing them in its darkness. Now complete silence reigned in the house. Only a light breeze whispered outside the window. No one knew what happened to the Peppa Pig family. Only a black, pulsating shadow remained in the house, waiting for the next guest. Peppa opens her eyes and sees that the ceiling in her room has become much higher than usual. George wakes up in his crib, but the walls of the nursery are now covered with strange drawings. Mummy Pig goes down the stairs that lead to a room that wasn't there before. Daddy Pig looks for the bathroom, but all doors in the hallway open to the same room. The Pig family's kitchen now has two refrigerators standing opposite each other. Peppa notices that the windows in the living room show different seasons at the same time. George plays with toys, but his dinosaur is now looking in a different direction. Mummy Pig cooks breakfast, but the stove is not where it was yesterday. Daddy Pig reads the newspaper, sitting in a chair that appeared overnight. Grandpa Pig comes to visit and is surprised by the new door to the basement. The family sits down for breakfast at a table that has become longer by 2 seats. Peppa looks in the mirror and sees a reflection of the room with different furniture. George points to the wall where photographs of unfamiliar pigs are hanging. Mummy Pig opens the wardrobe and finds clothes she never bought. Daddy Pig goes out to the garden through a door that used to be a window. Granny Pig calls on the phone, but the handset is in a different room. Peppa goes up to her room on stairs with additional steps. George falls asleep in his crib that now stands against the opposite wall. Mummy and Daddy Pig go to sleep in a bedroom with 2 additional windows. The house falls asleep, preparing for new changes that the next night will bring.